Let me say, first of all, thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for having us here. I appreciate the opportunity to come here and speak with this group. I have written the school budget book quite a number of times. In fact, we've big pile of these going back a number of years. This year something happened that surprised me, and I found somewhat disturbing. But in point of fact, the opposition, our fine friends down here, have taken a couple of pages out of this book, out of context, and used that as essentially the platform upon which to build a number of assumptions about the school corporation's finance, and we want to talk about that tonight. There's a page in the book that is one of these two pages, which has been appropriated, normally called page 216. Page 216 is a lot of things, but there also are a lot of things that it's not. So I want to talk about that real briefly for you. Page 216 is a cash flow projection. It was done as essentially an internal planning document, and what we did with that is we ran a computer simulation. The simulation, which takes into account as many variables as possible, but in fact does not take care of all of them, and is intended to represent not a most likely scenario, but actually a midpoint and a wide spectrum of possibilities that could occur. In the budget book itself, the context of page 216 is actually found on pages 213 and 214, and we have some copies of those pages here for tonight if you'd like to have a look at those. You see exactly what was said about this and what the explanation was and what the purpose is. It's all there in black and white. The entire budget book is also available on the school corporation website. If you'd like to download your own copy and read all 285 pages, we encourage you to do that. Moving on here, let's just mention a couple more things here. 216 does not indicate that there's a surplus, and of course it does not include all the expected losses. That's a key point that we want to cover tonight. We look at page 216, it actually deals only with one of the school corporation's funds. The school corporation has quite a number of funds, and the big piece here that you're not hearing when we just look at page 216 is our capital projects fund is going to be subject to a large hit from the property tax caps. And when we talk about what happens to that one bucket, immediately things spill over, splash over, as I like to call it, cascade, over into the other buckets, particularly driving costs back to the general fund. They'll have to be paid. The Umball County Group recently did a study for Boone County, in which they estimated that in 2011, Zionsville schools will lose in excess of $2.5 million to the property tax cap, with, as you can see here, that amount actually escalating rather dramatically in each of the future years that occurred by their projection. So when we look at our friend on page 216, and then look at what are the other possibilities, where within that spectrum, now that we know that the tax cap is going to be larger than expected, and now that we know it's going to drive quite a bit of cost back over the general fund, we have actual enrollment counts and some other new information we didn't have before. We see that when we look at where we are on the spectrum, that with this new information, we can get to much larger numbers than we're looking at on page 216 before. Having looked at that, let's also talk real quickly about another common misconception. The school corporation has talked a lot about how much money we've saved in various rounds of cuts. You've probably heard about some of that. We laid some people off, we outsourced some positions. Altogether, we downsized about 120 positions in 2009 with some other cost cutting. We saved $4.85 million. The common misconception is that that money is all recurring and all continues year after year. That's simply not so. A large amount of this money was actually saved in anticipation of cost increases we received. So that is, in fact, an important point we also want to get in. Time is not permitting to talk about a whole lot of other things. I will tell you that our projections for future years indicate our revenues are going down, while our enrollment is going to continue to go up. And so we also have a number of other issues that I'll discuss if someone's kind enough to ask a question about that. The school corporation has some cash balances, which have been bandied about a lot. And quite bluntly, if you take one look at a particular date of measurement, it's like looking at your checkbook on payday before you pay the bills. It's certainly not indicating what the actual financial position is, just look at the cash balance on some particular date. Having said that, I will yield the floor to Mr. Wheeler to finish up with us.
Well, just real quickly, again, we wouldn't have brought this forward to the community if we didn't think that it warranted your sincere attention. And the fact that the school districts, I might want to comment, the business owners out there recognize the school district as the single largest employer in the county, and the payroll is the largest, and it's certainly the largest in Zionsville area. We generate and assist all businesses in moving forward. So, but unlike a lot of businesses, we don't have the same flexibility to act and turn on a dime when it comes to financial situations. We do our best to look forward, and when we do our best to look forward, and I look at the numbers, you know, our concerns be greatly where we're going to be without the referendum. And that being said, given our limited ability to change in the extreme, we may have to make some very unfortunate choices when we come to this spring in order to go ahead and make sure we can meet our ongoing financial obligations. I think I'll just stop there because I think a lot of other issues will come out in Q&A, and look forward to the other gentleman.
That was stunningly good timing there. 19:30. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Martin.